The courtroom smelled of old wood, cheap perfume, and hypocrisy. Cameras flashed like lightning. The judge adjusted his glasses, looking down at the man in chains, the man everyone called the Clown of Gotham. His green hair was slicked back, his lips painted in a fading red grin that looked less like makeup and more like a scar. The crowd whispered, reporters, lawyers, officers, all here to witness the downfall of the city's most infamous criminal. Arthur Fleck, the judge sneered, or should I say, Joker. He paused, eyes gleaming with contempt. You stand accused of murder, terrorism, and spreading chaos in this city. Tell me, Mr. Clown, do you have anything to say before we begin sentencing? The courtroom fell silent. Joker looked up slowly. His eyes weren't wild. They were cold, calculating, calm. Then he smiled. Your Honor, he said softly, do you believe in justice? The judge scoffed. Don't play games. You're about to spend the rest of your life behind bars. Joker tilted his head, studying him. Funny thing about justice, he whispered. It always wears makeup. Just like me. Laughter erupted, not from him, but from the audience. Nervous chuckles, whispers. The judge slammed his gavel. Order in the court! But Joker's voice cut through like a knife. You sentenced an innocent man to death last month, didn't you, Judge Harper? The room froze. The judge's face turned pale. How dare you? Joker leaned forward, chains rattling. Mark Donovan, the man you called guilty, the man who begged for one more day. Remember? The judge tried to maintain composure, but a drop of sweat rolled down his temple. You have no proof. Joker grinned wider. Oh, but I do. And I intend to present it as my own defense counsel. Gasps filled the courtroom. Reporters whispered frantically. The defense attorney, a nervous middle-aged man, stood up, confused. Your Honor, this is absurd. He's not a licensed... Actually, Joker interrupted, I am. Arthur Fleck, Harvard Law, bar certified. Before the world laughed at me, I studied how it works. The judge stared, eyes trembling. You're lying. Am I? Joker said, sliding a small folder across the table, his law credentials, verified and real. The prosecutor snatched it, flipping through the papers. His voice cracked. It's authentic, sir. The judge's gavel slipped from his hand. Joker leaned back, smiling. I told you, Your Honor. I understand the system better than anyone. Because I've seen what happens when it fails. He looked straight at the cameras. This isn't my trial. This is yours. The lights flickered. Reporters shouted questions. The judge ordered silence, but the tension had already shattered the room. And as guards dragged Joker away, his laughter echoed down the hallway. Not insane, but victorious. Cold. Purposeful, because deep down, Joker wasn't trying to escape justice. He was about to redefine it. The next morning, the courtroom overflowed like a theater on opening night. Every seat was filled, every eye drawn to the same man who once burned the city to laughter and ashes, the Joker. But this time, there was no madness in his eyes, only control. Calculated, surgical control. He sat at the defense table in a plain gray suit, no clown makeup, no red smile, just Arthur Fleck. Yet somehow the absence of color made him more terrifying. The judge entered, red-faced, anxious, and the bailiff called the court to order. The prosecutor, a young man desperate to prove himself, cleared his throat. Your Honor, this is a mockery of justice. This man is dangerous. He's manipulating the system for attention. Joker didn't even look at him. Manipulation, he murmured. No, I'm just playing your game with your rules. Isn't that what justice is? The judge slammed his gavel. Mr. Fleck, if you intend to defend yourself, proceed. But know this, one wrong move and I'll have you removed. Arthur smiled faintly. Then I'll make every move count. He stood, walked toward the witness stand, and tapped his folder against it. Let's talk about Mark Donovan. The courtroom went silent again. Joker opened the folder. Inside were photos of a man beaten in police custody, medical records marked coerced confession. He spread them out like playing cards. This man was sentenced by you, Judge Harper, but the confession you called evidence was written 5 hours after he died. Gasps erupted. The judge's face drained of color. "You can't prove any of this," the prosecutor shouted. Arthur turned, his voice suddenly sharp. "Can't I?" He picked up a small flash drive and held it up. Inside this drive is security footage from the precinct that night. It shows an officer entering Mark's cell, the same officer who later received a quiet promotion, signed off by your office. The judge's voice broke. That's confidential evidence." Joker tilted his head. "And yet, here we are." The court clerk took the flash drive to the screen. The footage flickered to life. Grainy black and white. A man in uniform entered a cell. Minutes later, no one came out. The timestamp matched the night of Donovan's supposed confession. Murmurs grew louder. Reporters whispered like crows. Arthur turned toward the jury. "You see, justice isn't blind. She just looks the other way when the paycheck's right." The judge's hand trembled on his gavel. "Enough," he barked. "This circus ends now." Joker leaned forward, eyes burning. "It already ended, Your Honor. The day you traded truth for power." The judge pointed at him. "You're twisting facts to save yourself." Arthur smirked. "Oh, I'm not saving myself. I've already been destroyed by this system. I'm saving you, Judge Harper, from your illusion of morality." The prosecutor tried to interrupt, but the audience had already turned. The Chaos Joker once unleashed with bombs, he now wielded with words. Every sentence was a strike, every truth a bullet. Arthur continued softly. "Do you know why I wear the smile, Your Honor? Because when I tried to live like the rest of you, quiet, decent, honest, the world laughed at me. But when I laughed back, suddenly everyone listened." He turned toward the cameras again, his voice trembling but steady. "You called me a monster. Maybe I am, but what do you call a man who condemns the innocent and sleeps just fine?" Silence, the kind that suffocates. The judge finally spoke, his voice cracking. "You think this performance will change anything? The law doesn't bow to clowns." Arthur's smile faded. "No, but it bows to fear. And right now, Judge Harper, you're terrified." The judge rose angrily. "Bailiff, escort him!" Before the command could finish, the courtroom lights dimmed. The screen behind Joker flickered again. New footage appeared. This time, not of Mark Donovan. It showed the judge, in a dim office, taking a briefcase from a man in a suit. The audio was faint but clear enough. "Consider this. Gratitude for your verdict." The room erupted into chaos. Reporters screamed. Cameras clicked like machine guns. Officers rushed to unplug the screen, but it was too late. The truth was out. Joker didn't move. He just stared at the judge, whispering, "You wanted a trial? Here's your verdict." The judge's hands shook violently. Where did you get that video?" Arthur met his gaze. "Let's just say, the system isn't the only one with eyes." The guards seized him, but Joker didn't resist. He simply laughed. Not loud, not manic, just broken. As they dragged him out, he said one final thing that silenced the entire room. "You can lock me up again, but you can't cage the truth. It always finds its punchline." The judge sat frozen, sweat dripping down his collar, cameras flashing mercilessly. And then, in the chaos, a single piece of paper was found under the judge's desk, typed neatly, signed with red ink. It read, "Justice is a joke. The only question is, who's laughing now?" 3 days after the courtroom incident, the city trembled under headlines that refused to fade. Corruption exposed. Judge Harper under investigation. Joker outsmarts legal system. Who is Arthur Fleck, really? The footage had gone viral. The world was divided. Half saw him as a monster with a microphone. The other half, a martyr in makeup. And while the authorities scrambled to control the narrative, Arthur sat alone in a dim prison cell, humming a slow, haunting tune. He wasn't laughing anymore. He was waiting. The guard outside his cell couldn't stop glancing at him. "You think you're some kind of hero now?" he sneered. Arthur looked up, smiling faintly. Heroes don't exist, just people pretending to be sane. That night, while the world slept, the prison's power flickered. For exactly 30 seconds, every light went out. When they returned, Arthur Fleck's cell was empty. No broken locks, no tunnels, just gone. News broke by dawn. The city spiraled into chaos again. Reporters speculated everything from an inside job to divine intervention. But only one message appeared on social media, from an anonymous account. "Justice doesn't need permission. -J." Meanwhile, Judge Harper had gone into hiding. His mansion, once a symbol of power, was now wrapped in security and fear. The man who once laughed at Joker's insanity now jumped at every sound. He couldn't eat, couldn't sleep, couldn't shake the feeling that someone was watching him. Late one night, he found an envelope slipped under his door. Inside was a photo, his own, taken from across the street. On the back, scrawled in red ink, were 3 words: "Truth visits soon." The judge trembled. He called his security team, but the line was dead. The lights flickered, just like in the courtroom. He stumbled through the dark hall, grabbing his gun from the drawer. "Come out," he shouted. "You think you can scare me?" A soft laugh echoed from somewhere behind him. Not loud, just close enough to feel real. He turned, but saw nothing. Just his reflection in the mirror, except the reflection smiled back. He blinked. The smile was gone. "Going crazy, aren't we?" said a voice from the shadows. Harper spun around. The Joker stepped forward slowly. No makeup this time, just a pale face, cold eyes, and a calmness more terrifying than madness. "Don't," Harper stammered. You can't be here." "Oh, I can," Arthur interrupted, stepping closer. "Remember, Your Honor, you once said I'd spend the rest of my life behind bars. Guess what?" He smirked. "I took your advice. I just chose your prison instead." The judge raised the gun. "Stay back." Arthur stopped, hands slightly raised. "You're scared. Good. That means there's still something human left in you." "Why are you doing this?" the judge barked. Arthur's tone turned somber. "Because you killed more people than I ever did. You just wore a robe while doing it." The judge's hands shook violently. I did what the system demanded." Arthur's smile returned, slow and sorrowful. The system demanded a monster. You obeyed. He took a step closer. "You destroyed lives for bribes. You buried evidence. You called it justice. I called it comedy." The judge fired. The bullet hit the wall behind Joker. A warning shot, trembling and desperate. Arthur didn't flinch. He simply said, "You think bullets can kill guilt?" He took another step until the gun was inches from his chest. "Pull the trigger, Judge. Do it. Maybe then you'll feel like a god again." The judge's finger trembled and then lowered. He broke, fell to his knees. "Please," he whispered. "I'll turn myself in. I'll confess." Arthur crouched beside him. "No, you'll do something better." He slid a small flash drive onto the marble floor. "Broadcast this file to the media. Every detail of every name you ever took money from. Tell the truth. One last honest act before your curtain call." The judge looked up, trembling. "And if I refuse?" Arthur's smile turned hollow. "Then I'll tell it for you, in a way that's louder." He walked to the door, pausing once. "I'm not here to kill you, Judge. I'm here to free you. But freedom," he said, turning his head slightly, "has a price." And then he was gone. The judge sat alone for hours, shaking, staring at the drive. Finally, at dawn, he turned on his computer and uploaded the files. Everything. Names, deals, bank accounts. The system collapsed overnight. By the next morning, the city was burning again. But this time, not from Joker's chaos. From the people's rage. Protests erupted. Headlines screamed. Every corrupt name was exposed. Gotham was finally looking in the mirror and didn't like what it saw. And amid the noise, one last broadcast hijacked every channel. Joker's voice, distorted, echoing, "The court is adjourned. The people may now decide who the real clowns are." As the broadcast faded, the camera panned to a rooftop. Joker standing there, smiling faintly, watching the city below consume itself. But what no one noticed was the red light blinking on a sniper's scope locked on his chest. The night Gotham burned, the city's skyline looked like a broken crown, fires reflecting in shattered windows, sirens wailing like mourners. On a rooftop above, it all stood the Joker, silent and almost peaceful. He watched chaos spread below like ripples from a stone he'd thrown days ago. Then, the faint click of a rifle. A red dot glided across his chest. Joker tilted his head slightly, whispering to no one, "Took you long enough?" The trigger was pulled. The shot echoed through the night. Joker fell backward, a bloom of red spreading across his shirt. For a moment, everything slowed. The wind, the noise, the flickering lights below. He hit the roof hard, his body still, eyes staring at the clouds. The sniper lowered the rifle. "Target down," he muttered into his earpiece. "Repeat, the clown is down." But the voice on the other end, calm, steady, replied, "Check the body." Minutes later, footsteps approached the rooftop. The sniper knelt beside Joker's motionless form and pressed 2 fingers to his neck. No pulse. He exhaled in relief. It's done. Then a faint sound, a laugh, a small, cracked laugh, bubbling through the silence. The sniper froze. Joker's hand shot up, grabbing his wrist with inhuman strength. His eyes opened. No madness this time, only purpose. "You should have aimed for the head," he whispered. The sniper struggled, but Joker twisted, disarming him in seconds. The gun turned, now pointing at its owner. "Who sent you?" Joker asked calmly. The man hesitated. "You wouldn't believe me." "Try me." "The same people you're exposing," the sniper gasped. "The city's elite. They want you dead before you talk again. Said you'd gone too far." Joker chuckled softly. "Too far? I am the line they're afraid to cross." He fired once, not to kill, just to scare. The bullet shattered a nearby antenna. The sniper flinched. "What are you doing?" "Finishing my case," Joker said, dropping the gun beside him. "Tell them the clown's dead. Let them celebrate." The sniper blinked. "You're letting me go?" Joker smiled. "You've already done what I needed. You made me a martyr." He turned and disappeared into the shadows, leaving the rifle, the blood, and a corpse-like decoy behind. By dawn, every news channel screamed the same headline. "Joker assassinated! City breathes relief!" Crowds gathered in the streets. Some cheered, some mourned. The judge who once mocked him watched from his hiding place, tears streaking his face, not from sadness, but guilt. The files he leaked had torn the city apart. The same justice system he built now hunted him, desperate to silence the fallout. He turned on the TV. A reporter spoke solemnly. Sources confirm Joker's body was found on a rooftop near Gotham Square. Investigators have yet to identify his killer. Authorities believe the assassination was carried out by a government task force. But something caught Harper's attention. The image of Joker's body. The face was covered in blood, but the eyes were wrong. His heart raced. That's not him. And miles away, beneath an abandoned courthouse, Arthur Fleck sat alone at a wooden table, wiping fake blood from his hands. In front of him, a stack of flash drives, one marked Phase 2. He whispered to himself, "A dead man can say what the living can't." A voice echoed from the shadows, a woman's voice, calm, familiar. "You didn't tell me you'd fake your death, Arthur." He looked up slowly. A woman stepped into the dim light. Dark hair, sharp eyes. Maya Trent, investigative journalist, the same one who once tried to expose the judge years ago. Everyone thought she'd gone missing. Arthur smiled faintly. You were buried by their lies, too. She nodded. And now you want me to resurrect the truth. He slid her the flash drive. I started the fire. You're going to keep it burning. She hesitated. And what about you? Joker leaned back. I'll become what they fear most, the ghost that laughs at their walls. She studied him. You know this won't end peacefully. Arthur's grin returned, faint but real. Peace is overrated, but justice, that's funny. As she left, he stood by the cracked mirror in the corner. His reflection stared back, half Arthur, half Joker. For the first time, he didn't know which one was real. He whispered, almost to the reflection, maybe I was never the villain. Maybe I was just the only one who stopped pretending. The camera panned closer to the mirror. Behind him, the reflection smiled, but he didn't. And then the lights flickered. The city had gone quiet, not peaceful, just waiting, like a wound that had stopped bleeding but never healed. Gotham's skyline still flickered with burnt lights, protest banners hung from rooftops, and the once proud courthouse now stood abandoned, its doors chained shut like the mouth of a liar. And deep beneath it, in the forgotten tunnels where rats outnumbered men, Arthur Fleck, the ghost everyone believed dead, watched the chaos he'd created on an old television. Static riots, arrests, the news anchors trying to explain what couldn't be explained, how a dead man had destroyed the living. He sat in silence, his hand trembling slightly as he lit a cigarette. The faint orange glow illuminated his face, half in shadow, half in that twisted smile that refused to fade. You've turned the city into a circus, said Maya Trent, her voice echoing in the damp tunnel. She stepped into the light, coat draped around her, eyes filled with both admiration and fear. Arthur didn't look at her. I didn't turn it into anything, he murmured. I just showed everyone the clown masks they were already wearing. She moved closer. The files you gave me, they're everywhere now. The mayor resigned. The police chief's on the run. You've dismantled Gotham's entire legal system. But what now, Arthur? What's left? He exhaled smoke, staring at the glowing tip. Laughter. There's always laughter. Maya frowned. This isn't laughter. It's collapse. Arthur turned to her, his voice quiet but cutting. Maybe collapse is the first honest sound this city's ever made. She hesitated. You don't have to keep playing this role, you know. You can stop being him. Arthur looked up sharply. You think I chose to be him? I tried being good once. No one listened. But when I became the punchline, he chuckled. Suddenly, everyone understood the joke. A loud clang echoed through the tunnels, metal striking concrete. Maya froze. Arthur didn't move. Footsteps approached from the darkness, slow, heavy, familiar. Then came a voice, deep and steady. Arthur Fleck. Arthur's eyes narrowed. He knew that voice, the one that once sentenced him, mocked him in front of the world. Judge Harper stepped into the light, his robe gone, his face hollow, his hands shaking, but armed with a pistol. His once arrogant posture had collapsed into desperation. You should be dead, the judge whispered. Arthur smiled faintly. I was. You buried me, remember? The judge raised the gun, but his hands trembled too much to aim. You ruined everything. My career, my life. Arthur leaned forward. No, Judge. I just held up the mirror. You did the rest. Maya glanced between them, tension thick enough to choke on. Put the gun down, she urged. This isn't the way. Quiet, Harper shouted, his voice cracking. You think he's a savior? He's a murderer, a manipulator. Arthur's tone softened, almost pitying. And yet, you came here to kill me yourself. Funny how justice becomes personal when it hurts, huh? The judge's finger twitched on the trigger. You destroyed the system. Arthur stepped closer. No, you did. I just gave it a stage name. The gun fired. A single shot. Maya screamed. Arthur staggered back, clutching his side. Blood seeped through his fingers. He looked down, then up again, smiling through the pain. "Good shot," he gasped. "Now you're just like me." The judge dropped the gun, trembling. "What are you talking about?" Arthur stumbled closer, his voice breaking but steady. "You wanted justice so bad. You became the criminal." He reached out and pressed a bloodied hand against the judge's chest. "Welcome to the show." The judge's face twisted in horror. "I didn't mean—" Arthur fell to his knees, coughing. "You never do. None of you ever do." Maya rushed forward, catching him. "Arthur, stay with me." He looked at her, eyes glassy, voice faint. "Don't let them rewrite the ending. Promise me." Tears filled her eyes. "I promise." He smiled weakly. "Good, because this story was never about me." His hand slipped from hers, falling limp. His body went still. The faintest trace of a smile remained on his lips. The judge backed away, shaking uncontrollably. I didn't mean to." Maya stood, her expression hardening. She picked up the gun and aimed it at him. "You wanted justice, Judge Harper?" "Here it is." He froze, terrified. "You wouldn't." But she lowered the gun. "No," she said coldly. "Killing you would make me one of you." She turned, kneeling beside Arthur, one last time. "You got your final laugh, didn't you?" she whispered. Then, buzz, a faint hum. The old television flickered to life on its own. Static filled the room, and then Arthur's voice came through, recorded. "If you're watching this, it means the show's over. But don't be sad. Every punchline is just the truth wearing a mask, and sometimes the mask wins." Maya's eyes widened. The screen cut to black, then displayed a single line of text glowing red. "Act 2 begins tomorrow." The judge fell to his knees, staring at the screen in horror. What does that mean?" Maya whispered the only answer that made sense, her voice trembling as the lights flickered again. "He's not done." And in the reflection of the shattered TV screen, a faint smile appeared. The end. Or maybe just the beginning. The screen fades to black, the echo of Joker's last words still lingering in the air. Every punchline hides a truth, and sometimes the truth laughs back. As the haunting piano music rises, the narrator's voice breaks the silence. This was Judge Mock's Joker in court, the genius attorney in disguise, a dark tale of justice, revenge, and the thin line between right and wrong. If this story made you feel something, if it made you question the world or even yourself, then don't just leave. Subscribe to our channel for more dark, emotional, and cinematic stories like this one. Join the community that believes every shadow has a story to tell and every laugh hides a truth. Subscribe now and don't miss what comes next, because in this world, the next story might be yours.